Hey everybody, how's it going? Joey here, back with a new video. As a lot of you know, I am very passionate about understanding what it means to be mentally healthy in our modern day and age. I believe we are just so confused. There's a lack of clarity as to what it means to be mentally healthy. And in my view, we have to look at mental health in the context of our social processes. Okay, so the question I would put forth to you is, how are you fundamentally different than your dog or cat in the way that your dog and cat socialize with other dogs and cats? You'll notice there are some fundamental differences between you and the cat. Namely, that you can use language, that you can, resist your desires and impulses. You can plan into the future. In fact, you're probably overthinking. That's why you're anxious. Or you're self-critical because you have this actual self, this sense of self that arises from your metacognition, that is to say, your awareness of being aware, your awareness of yourself. So as human beings, we are granted this qualia, that is to say, this quality of being aware, which comes with these abilities to really use different kinds of skills, right? And I would say mental wellness, mental flourishing, is using those skills within context of culture, within the context of a social process. And when those, you could say, capacities start to dysfunction or go awry, that is mental illness, or at least I would argue mental health being compromised in some capacity. So we have to then, if we're going to understand what mental health is, we have to understand, what does it mean to have a healthy mind? Meaning, what is a healthy, you could say, prefrontal capacity look like? So we do understand kind of what it is the prefrontal cortex does, but we do understand that we do have these mammalian sort of circuits as well as these prefrontal circuits. So we are in some sense like our dogs, like our cats. There's a part of us that is very much dog-like and cat-like, etc. We are mammals, but we have this additional aspect to our being that grants us these unique human capacities. So what are they? They are, and there are many, and I might go into this in a different video, but there is fundamentally this ability to use language, right? To apprehend our feeling states, our desires, our impulses, and to delay those impulses in pursuit of goals, in pursuit of social and cultural norms, right? So if I interact with you, for example, I will accommodate and adapt my behavior such to relate to you in a way that is pro-social, right? Ideally, right? So we have these natural prefrontal abilities. I can use empathy to step into your internal world. I can use my ability to pay attention to my own bodily feelings. And interestingly, we've been able to understand that this capacity to have empathy is connected to our bodily awareness. So we are, it seems, designed to be social, and it's the social process that may or may not have, we think, contributed to the creation of these prefrontal capacities. So why would we be able to plan, delay our impulses, to use language if we were meant to just be quiet and not use language? It makes no sense. And we understand that the cognitive memory systems in the brain, that is to say the hippocampus, right, this part of the brain that looks like a seahorse, is consolidating this short-term memory, this bits of information, the RAM of my attention, into my long-term memory. And it's doing this, and it's storing information that is relevant emotionally, right? So emotional information is what we remember. Why is that? Why is emotional information so important? If not to serve in some level of social and organizational, function. So I would say when we have these natural functions of the prefrontal cortex compromised, when we're not using our attention appropriately to delay our impulses, to socialize, and to observe norms, and probably the controversial aspects of life, the ethics of the group. If we're not part of a group where there is an ethic, a sense of right and wrongness, a sense of identity, right, then we are going to suffer mentally, because we are operating in a way that is designed, right? We're designed to be social. We're designed to observe norms and try to then delay our impulses, our, you could say, animalistic tendencies, such that we can engage in this process of social and emotional collaboration and learning and stuff. So I would say the work of being a mental health professional is, how do we lift up these cognitive capacities? How do we flex the muscle of our attentional awareness through social processes? That's got to be the main intervention. The main intervention has to be psychosocial, okay? Because it's in the psychosocial process that these prefrontal capacities come on full stream, right? If we have to have a personal level of intervening to help people. We have to make people and this personal reality the focus of mental health care, right? And this means the identity of the person, the culture of the person, the relationships of the person. And we need to be very cautious when we think about using psychotropics, because psychotropics are non-specific in the way they act in the brain, and then over time they alter the brain's sensitivities to, I would argue, the natural social rewards that are supposed to create these homeostatic mechanisms to promote health and wellness. So we need to try to understand the environmental milieu, the social milieu, the cultural milieu that so beautifully is really where we come from. And we need to respect our humanity in mental health care. So how do we work on growing our prefrontal cortex and its capacities? You start by being really social in the way you're meant to. That means you pay attention to people, you become aware of their feelings, you listen to your feelings, you're engaged in that process. It takes practice. All it takes, in my view, is one loving relationship with good psychological boundaries, a healthy form of attachment. And if you have that one relationship, you learn the skills and you can move on and you can love and you can teach others those skills by way of your very being. And we can all do this. You don't have to see a psychiatrist, a psychologist, and maybe me one day. You don't have to see me. It just takes one person. But I will tell you, I am very passionate about bringing this very, I think, simple idea into sort of mainstream mental health as best as I can. So yeah, if you are passionate about psychosocial interventions and psychiatry and really helping people to be grounded in their humanity, please let me know. Like the video, comment, subscribe. I would love to hear from you. Okay, bye. I will see you soon.